Once you log into your Minecraft Education Edition account and you go to create some worlds, there may be some settings in those worlds that will better reflect the goals and use within your classroom. So when I click on play as the educator and I go into view my worlds, I will talk about in a different video, just that creation of worlds, but you can see some options right here, such as create new. So in view my worlds, there's two options that I have right now. One is a new world and one is one that I've looked at before. If I click on that, you can see that there's play, host, and settings, which we'll look over. And in the settings is where it will reflect what I'm about to show you when we go to create a new world. My experience is that once you create and look at these settings, that they will kind of default apply to any world that you create, except if you use a template, it'll probably pull those settings that the person who created the world would be. So you can see that in here, there's the world name. This is a big one for us, and we'll look in when you're creating a world, and then which is the creative mode, and then the difficulty. So lots of other things that I'll go back to creating a new world as if you were from scratch. So I'm going to go to new world, and then I'm going to click on new. This is where you will also access via templates, and we'll show that in a different OCSB how-to. When I click on this, you can see that you would name your world up here. But for this video, I'm focusing on these type of settings. This one did not carry over specifically. So when you're setting it up, as we learn the tool, this would be helpful. So in here, creative is good because it just allows the students to play around. And then you can see the difficulty is peaceful, easy, normal, hard. Peaceful is there, again, depending what it is. And then the students need to be a member. So that one I would just leave typically there. And here, is it infinite? Is it flat? Different things that we're all getting to learn with the tool. And then everything is going to be starting to look at preferential based on you and your students. But one thing that I did find helpful is show coordinates. And show coordinates was just that X and Y axis where people are located on there. And it's very helpful, not just for finding people, but also to connect to any curriculum that you're trying to look at. Immediate respawn is if they do die within the game, but because we're in creative and we don't have those mobs and people coming up there, that would be that piece. And then you can, as you go through activity cheats, code builder, those type of things. And then the tick speed, I've been recommended for my own kids at 1 being there, but again, your students. And then these 6 chunks, sometimes I heard go up to 9 or something like that, but these are all things we're learning together. So biggest thing is that if we're coming in here, creative is great. The difficulty at peaceful or easy because of that. And then that takes away that sort of ability for different ones to look at, and definitely not the ability to kind of die. Always day is great in terms of that option, so that it doesn't go into night, but it could. That's totally up to you again. And then show classroom settings, different items in here. This is where we get always perfect weather. Allow mobs. Mobs are just people that might be villagers, but you can also see player versus player damage might be something that you might want to take off. Player damage, you could probably take off. Allow destructive items, so that might be fire, different things like that that you might put off. And then just different border effects around when they're building. So these are just items in here under the different tools that we have for adjusting your world and game settings.